If there was anybody who got this 100% right, where it was the golden standard, we would all be using it and this presentation would be much, much shorter, right? Because I would just be talking about that one standard. It's adapting it to your organization and knowing what you can use versus, well, this is the one that our vendor says that we should use. Or these are the things that we need to do for regulation. While you absolutely need to do those things for regulation, there may be additional pieces that you want to be able to inherit. We have ISA 62443. It's impossible to walk or talk in this industry without being familiar with the standard to some extent. There are 13 either planned, proposed, or otherwise used documentation within ISA for ICS security. The thing here that's really interesting and really cool is that you can see it's broken up into this idea of general policies and procedures, system and component level standards, and also roles. That's something that's really unique when having this conversation between what the asset owner does, what the integrators may do, and what the suppliers do. Recognizing that security is across that entire process. So in this case here, we have the 18 families from 853, and that's everything that you would expect to see. Again, it's comprehensive in that way. 62443 is also comprehensive. It's just that things are called different pieces. So you'll have foundational requirements in 62443 compared to the families here. In this case here, the problems that you're going to talk about are going to be impact-based, not the security levels based from 62443. You're not going to be talking about necessarily the type of threats that you're looking at. Instead, you'll look at low, moderate, and high impact from, in this case here, this is an example from 882, injury, financial loss, environmental damages. So NERC-CIP goes through, again, a similar construct of what is programmatically needed across the board for your conversations in ICS security. So in this case here, within NERC-CIP, we start off with CIP 002. And CIP 002 has the same conversation about low, medium, and high impact. But unlike NIST, you're not given the option to kind of select your own where you fit. We have a conversation of bright line criteria. So when we talk about that risk management conversation, there's actually already documentation about, based off the physics of the grid, here's what it means for high, here's what it means for medium, here's what it means for low. So if you are in the grid space in the United States, in the mainland United States, you are going to comply with NERC-CIP. But again, the DNA of these things are roughly the same. It's not like you're going to pick up one of these and say, I'm supposed to have an inventory. That is shocking, right? You're going to see a lot of the same language. It's just going to be using different lexicon, different terminology to describe very similar concepts. And maybe the instructions on how to get there are a little bit more specific to your operating environment. One of the things that people find really valuable about the NIST cybersecurity framework, especially when reporting to executives, is I've got 5 buckets. Only 5 things that we're talking about, and they're in very easy to understand language that executives get, and because of the conversation that's been pushed from the US government in particular, you know that they're already kind of versed in that. There was a lot of coverage with CEOs, in particular in critical infrastructure, about using the NIST cybersecurity framework, in which case you're looking at things for identify, protect, detect, respond, recover. Really easy 5 buckets of things. And then accompanying to that with this idea of a profile, target profile, as well as your current profile. The current profile being a snapshot of where you are, and the target profile being where you want to be. So in that case here, you're talking about crawl, walk, run, but you're not going to management in the conversation and saying, well, we're only crawling right now. You can start talking about, well, we're crawling, but we're going to aim for walking. And now the standards conversation becomes almost a budget justification, right? You can start using it as a tool to talk about your management in a way that you say, you know what, we're not really doing too hot right now on detection within our ICS. We really should do something more in there. Here are a few suggestions that we have to get there. What is a COBIT? What is an ISA? Some of those conversations with management are not what you want to have. But you can have a conversation about these 5 high-level functions, and then you, down in the operations, can have a conversation about what requirement it is that you're examining. The one thing that I really enjoy about using this is that it references all the other standards that a lot of us geek out about all the time, and then it takes a process around that. So it's not just, do I comply or do I not comply with the standard? It's, how am I doing on my journey to get to my destination? And then once I'm at that destination, what's the next destination I'm going for? Because I'm creating another target profile. So again, it reinforces this idea that security is a process.